weeks before the lights come back on. In northeast Ohio, tens of thousands in and around Cleveland could be without heat through the weekend. Temperatures in the mid-30s at night. In Connecticut, power crews are making their way through a tangled maze of downed trees and power lines in town after town after town. On the eastern shore of Maryland, the massive task is just starting to fix Ocean City's ravaged beachfront. And they are digging out tonight in West Virginia after parts of that state, as you know, received just under 3 feet of snow. Despite all of this, the presidential campaign is back on, of course, and the pace for both camps is pretty frantic. 3 days lost to this storm, 5 days to go until the election. NBC's Peter Alexander traveling with the Romney campaign in Virginia. Peter, good evening.
Ron, good evening to you. Believe it or not, we are now barely 100 hours away from Election Day. Today, Mitt Romney campaigned across the state of Virginia. He's going to end here tonight in Virginia Beach with a rally. And for the first time since last weekend today, he was joined on the trail by the man he's trying to unseat, President Obama, who tonight is campaigning out west. Bounding down the steps of Air Force One in Wisconsin, President Obama today tried to make up for lost time with swing voters, returning to the campaign trail, adopting an inclusive tone.
When disaster strikes, we see America at its best. There are no Democrats or Republicans during a storm. They're just fellow Americans.
Launching a frenetic 5-day battleground tour, Mr. Obama hammered his opponent as a candidate who can't be trusted.
Governor Romney has been using all his talents as a salesman to dress up these very same policies that failed our country so badly.
Charging into Virginia, Mitt Romney, who had softened his critique of the president in the wake of Sandy, today refocused squarely on his rival.
If the president were to be reelected, you're going to see high levels of unemployment continue and stalled wage growth, if any wage growth at all.
And Mr. Romney mocked President Obama for this proposal he outlined earlier this week on MSNBC.
I've said that I want to consolidate a whole bunch of government agencies. We should have one Secretary of Business instead of 9 different departments.
We don't need a Secretary of Business to understand business. We need a president who understands business, and I do.
This afternoon in Richmond, Mr. Romney called on supporters to give to the Red Cross, but was interrupted by protesters. At the center of the response to that storm, New York City's politically independent mayor Michael Bloomberg, who said climate change contributed to the destructive hurricane, and today endorsed Mr. Obama as the best candidate to tackle climate change, insisting he could still fulfill the hope he inspired 4 years ago, despite what Bloomberg called a disappointing first term. And Brian, there is still one potentially significant event that could still affect this race. That's tomorrow morning when the government puts out its last monthly unemployment report before the election.
Peter Alexander with the Romney campaign in Virginia tonight. Peter, thanks. Let's get an update on the other side of this. Our political director-chief White House correspondent Chuck Todd is with us tonight. Chuck, so nice to see everybody getting along, as always. What does this come down to for Team Obama?
Well, I can tell you this, Brian, I've been talking about this. The best poll these days is actually the candidate's schedule. And this is what's telling us everything. And I want to show you, these are all the states the president's going to visit between now and Election Day. But you'd be forgiven to think that you're looking at an airline magazine's hub and spoke system, because it looks like every trip on Friday or Saturday or Sunday means he's got to change planes in Ohio. The point is, he goes to Ohio every single day between now and the election, while sprinkling in other battleground states. Now let me show you the emphasis that Mitt Romney's putting in his final 4 days of scheduling. He also has 2 stops in Ohio over the next 4 days, but he also adds 2 stops in New Hampshire, and the reason is his path to 270, Florida, Virginia, Ohio, if he swept all 3, would still be 4 short. He needs a small state. New Hampshire seems to be the best idea. Here's why. Let me show you some numbers. Iowa, a small state, seems to be sticking with Obama. He's up by 6 in our latest poll. Wisconsin, Paul Ryan's home state, a state that as part of the Obama firewall, Romney would like to get it, still trails by 3 points there. But look at New Hampshire. While the president does lead by 2, I can tell you go in the numbers, and New Hampshire looks like a state that is poised to go Romney. Romney's economic numbers are better than the president, and the president's job approval rating is less than there. And I can tell you very quickly, I'll show you, though, the crucial state ends up sitting here as Ohio. If you look at these numbers up here, and the 270, road to 270, the missing ingredient is Ohio, Brian.
All right, as we'll be discussing, something tells me on Tuesday night, Chuck Todd at the board tonight. Chuck, thanks. Still ahead as we continue along the way, why visitors to New York won't be able to visit one of the great American icons for quite some time, as our own Richard Engel found out by air today.
Today, Jason is here to volunteer to help those in need. When a twinge of back pain surprises him, morning starts in high spirits, but there's a growing pain in his lower back. As lines grow longer, his pain continues to linger.
Propone reforzar la frontera, deportar a los criminales, agilizar el proceso de ciudadanía de quienes no tengan récord criminal y contribuyan a la economía del país.
Todo lo que nos estás escribiendo sobre tu programa de plataforma migratoria no es congruente con la plataforma del Tea Party.
El Tea Party es cualquier persona que está ya fastidiada, hartada con lo que son los altos impuestos. En lo que es la plataforma de la reforma migratoria, lo que es el MINA, a lo mejor no vemos ojo a ojo. Buenas tardes, señor.
Por eso es que aunque representa el movimiento del té,
Yo soy el partido de la gente. Yo estoy aquí para representar esa comunidad.
Vanessa Ock, Telemundo.
Y al regresar veremos qué provocó que una fiesta de Halloween terminara en una tragedia en Colombia y conoceremos la historia de horror que vivieron dos mujeres víctimas del narcotráfico en México.
Decisión 2012.
Es Noticias Telemundo.
A través de todas las plataformas digitales, redes sociales y telemundo.com. De costa a costa.
Con análisis políticos y la cobertura más completa.
En vivo. Cobertura total. Minuto a minuto.
En el día de las elecciones cuentas con el mejor equipo periodístico.
Todas las reacciones y los resultados aquí.
Decisión 2012. En noviembre por Noticias Telemundo. En Los Ángeles, un pleito desgarrador.
No es maltrato.
Y yo que soy el padre, le alzo la mano.
Thank you, Doctor. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Patrick. Be well. I had nothing to do